You you haven't gotten them yet because we really want to make sure they're right before we distribute them to too many people. And questions may arise tonight, or or situation may change slightly. So just to make sure that that you get the copy that's the most correct without other copies flying around. Thank everybody for being here tonight, and for volunteering and giving up some of your time in services. As you know, we have pivoted greatly. I also want to say thank you for everybody who has written to us to tell us their changes in attendance since we sent out something before the COVID spike. So we will be working on that. Right now, it looks like we have about 350 people or so coming to the main service. Riverside is nearly at capacity, or is at capacity, but the open tent sides give us a little flexibility in terms of people who are attending that one. We have the overflow monitor with seats so people can watch there. We have 2 family services going on. We have a teen service going on. If you've been on, I was on campus today, and to see these 2 tents, and we really are having a 4-ring circus or a 5-ring circus with everything that we are doing on campus, and that doesn't include having both Zoom and live streaming for the people who are staying home. So Joel, kudos, you're doing. I mean, this has been a week of pivoting and turning around and trying to consider our congregants and their needs, first and foremost. And so that's where we are. And as I say, that may make for some changes to what we are going through now. The first thing I'd like to go through is our security protocols. Just to say, so we're all on the same page. This has more to do not with the health protocols that you've all been told about, but more to do with us enforcing them, and also just general security issues that may or may not arise. So we have engaged a strong professional security and police presence. I believe we have, 6 armed guards between the armed personnel between the police and the and our professional security who will be on campus. We will have the canine sweep in the morning before to make sure that things are good. And even though we have this presence, it's really incumbent on us to remain vigilant. To, if you see something, if you smell something, as John Stewart say, if you smell something, say something. If your gut reaction is this doesn't seem right, we're all people who know that it's probably not right, because we know what's right in our synagogue. People who are behaving in a different way, people are refusing to follow some of our protocols, and for those who are greeters, you will probably see there are probably personnel out there who you can actually talk to directly and say, I'm not sure about this guy. For those inside, as ushers, we will give you emergency phone numbers. Joel is the first line. Please text. Don't call unless it's dire. I think too that we're going to try to get one for the ushers. We will also have a direct line to one of our security personnel as well. So if for some reason Joel can't pick up his phone because he's dealing with 15 other things, as he will all day, we have a backup for that. That to me is like first and foremost. No one, and we've reiterated this to our congregants, time and time again, No one is allowed into any of our venues without a ticket. Obviously, if they forget their ticket, Ronnie, you can send them. Ronnie will be stationed towards the entrance, and she can look them up. She can certainly see if they have complied. As you know, one of the things we asked for was proof of vaccination, and people, basically signed that they were vaccinated. So we really can't take that risk. We also, with being at capacity now because of our reduced seating in the sanctuary, we really can't accommodate anybody who doesn't who hasn't arranged it in advance. So if you know any of those people, tell them to make sure that they're in line before the day. So if they don't have a ticket, they go to Ronnie. Or the ushers shouldn't have too much trouble with this because they shouldn't be in the building without it. There will be no bags except for a tallit bag and a reasonable sized handbag. When I first wrote this, I said ladies handbag, and then I realized that really wasn't gender inclusive. So anybody who, has a reasonable sized bag, but no diaper bags, no suitcases, nothing. There will be a table next to Ronnie where people can leave things, and somebody will be there all day. So they probably can tell if, probably nobody will steal your stuff or anybody's stuff, or they can go back to their cars and put their things away safely. Medical emergency. If there's a medical emergency, where you see one anywhere, the first thing you should do is take out your cell phone. And everybody, please bring your cell phone, put it on mute. If you do not carry, then talk to the next person. If you're an usher, talk to another usher who will carry a cell phone. We don't want you to do anything you don't feel comfortable with. But if you have a cell phone and are willing to have it for emergencies, please do. And then dial pull the fire alarm, call 911, whatever it takes, react. When Jeremy will tell you, ushers, a little more about what to do inside when he gives his presentation, or Brad. If there is the case of an intruder, hopefully with a strong presence outside, that will not be an issue. If it is, everybody must stay calm and wait for instructions. That was the protocol from 2 years ago. It remains the protocol now. You will have the emergency numbers when you get your copy of these things. Make a note of it, and so you can help us out in emergency situations. And the other thing is, please make sure people are wearing masks and they are wearing them properly, covering the nose and the mouth, so that we have no issue with that. If anybody does take issue with mask wearing after everything we've said and reiterated, then let Joel handle it. Joel, I want them to see what we're doing inside. Ushers will have their own paddles. They're message paddles. They're not hit you over the head paddles. But hopefully that will get people's attention and just, remind you to, and if it gets bad, we can also ask Rabbi Mero, or one person can go up and ask Rabbi Mero to please announce from the Bima that people will be asked to leave if they are not wearing their masks properly. So that's another thing. I don't think I put that down anywhere, Jeremy, but it's another thing to think about. All right, so I'm going to turn this over to Jeremy and Brad now to talk about what our expectations of ushers. And then we're all here, Jeremy and Brad and Naomi and I, and Joel, who can all answer some of your questions if you have them. Okay, Jeremy, take it away. First of all, I want to thank Jeremy and Brad, who have done an amazing job of recruiting ushers. We're doing very, very well. We've covered a lot. Naomi, you have your hand up?
Yeah, can I just clarify one thing about masks? Because this came up at the town hall as well. Just for high holidays, we are requiring masks 100% while on our property, outside, inside, anywhere. And that way we don't have to say, well, they're sort of in the tent or this or that. It's just like a 100% rule. I think it makes it simpler. So that mask, so I think for greeters too, who are outside, you know, everyone needs to be masked. I just wanted to clarify that.
Good point. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Okay, Jeremy and Brad, thank you so much for all you've done, and take it away.
All right, Judy, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. If there are questions during or certainly at the end, let us know. A number of the people that are assisting are also on this call, including Nancy Lewis. So thank you. Joel, you could show the slides if you want. I mean, I could walk through this. But I mean, the first and foremost, as an usher, probably, the next slide. First of all, I want to thank the greeters and the ushers. I mean, taking time during the high holidays with, you know, family in the sanctuary, hopefully it's much appreciated. First and foremost, I think this goes without saying, but just to remind folks, it's great to greet everybody. I know we're not going to do, or we're going to want to do the hugs and the talking, but we try to limit that. Shana Tova, Happy New Year. From a from a usher perspective, see how you can assist folks in finding their seats. I mean, most folks have kind of gone through the drill. I think we're going to most likely keep the doors open for ventilation. So we're going to have ushers positioned at the sanctuary door and possibly the door near that, kind of back and forth within inside to help people when there are a number of folks in the sanctuary try to point people towards the back of the sanctuary. So it's a little less crazy and people can walk in and find seats accordingly. Joel, if you could, I think, scroll, and thanks Judy for for these together. So Brad and I will be available. Our cell numbers to text us will be on the bottom of the document that Judy was referring to. Then that'll be sent out on Sunday. So feel free to reach out to us at any point in time. And if for some reason your plans change and you're not available at a certain time, if you could just give us a heads up, that would just be helpful. We could adjust positions and stations accordingly. We want to obviously, as Judy mentioned, make sure that every congregant is wearing their mask properly, covering their nose and mouth upon entering and while they're in the sanctuary. And you're free to move around. And actually, I sort of encourage that. You know, if people need assistance, need to know where to go, need to better understand the social distancing that I'll refer to in a second. They don't need to stay in one location for the hour and 15 minutes. That might get tedious as well, but, you know, kind of keep the traffic moving as much as possible. And then the ushers will have more or less oversight to the area that they are assigned to. And we'll do our best. When folks signed up, it was kind of just in order of time slots. What I think we will try to do is assign the sanctuary door, the second door, the third door, and then have somebody inside on the other side of the sanctuary where there's an entrance that I think will be used on a limited basis for folks that need extra help to get very close to the front door. But we just want to have coverage throughout, you know, from a safety perspective, both with the masks, but also in case God forbid, there's some kind of emergency. And Joel, I think next fancy slide there. And Brad, feel free, and Judy, to jump in if I forget something that's important to reference. So there's social
Comfort point.
distancing. I'm sorry?
You might be covering this, but I think with the doors open and the normal desire for people to be social, talking will be very disruptive. So I think we really want to try to get people who want to talk and catch up to move outdoors. So I think, perhaps who's stationed by the sanctuary door, roaming, I think that would be, because I can't imagine we're not going to want the doors open for ventilation in light of COVID. So I think that is something we have to think about.
If I can interrupt for a second, or interject. The plan was that we will not have the first set of doors open except at the very, very beginning, because it does get noisy with people just going back. So people, whoever is at the front door, I'm getting ahead a little because that's a greeter job. Who's ever at the front door will tell people to quietly go to their seats because the service is in progress. Don't forget, we're trying to get people to not interact. The front of the building Brad, is going to be very busy with people entering.
Mhm.
With 4 different services going on in 4 different locations, we really don't have a spot for that kind of congregating.
Okay, good. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, thank you.
Good point. So Joel has configured a seating arrangement. So basically, people can move chairs in the same row, so they kind of form a seating group, provided that they're 3 feet away from another family. But if there's 4 people in a family, they can move 4 chairs, maybe a little closer
Move
together.
one chair closer to the other 3.
Right, exactly. I meant like overall, make sure that their family is together. But yes. So, and then for those congregants that are in the pews, there'll be seating that's indicated. So, families can there'll be markers providing they stay 3 feet apart from their neighbors. And Joel has, I think, some props that he could show or will be available if people want to measure that yard, that 3 feet, the yard, so that everyone has proper distancing. And they're Jewish Center branded, I believe. So pretty impressive.
They are.
Nice.
I think the next slide. So so as far as the capacity, Judy referenced, the numbers, and hopefully we won't have to turn people away, but from what I understand, there will be sort of the outside viewing opportunity of the service as well. So if folks do happen to not have room at a point in time, they can view outside. Probably during the course of services, especially on the first day, folks will leave at some point, and that will open up some space as well if people happen to be waiting. But what we're asked the ushers is just kind of keep track of available seating, guide people to open seats and areas, get a sense on how many people are in their party, and then help them locate seats. When we're at a point where we're pretty close to capacity, 20, 30 seats remaining, that's when I guess the thought is if we could text Joel and Ronnie to just give them a heads up.
Just Joel. Yeah.
Okay. Text Joel, excuse me.
No, that's all. No, that was a change. I just noticed it was still here. So yeah. Thanks, Jeremy.
Can I ask, Jeremy, this is Susan Falcon. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because this is something that came up at, I can't remember now which meeting, it might have been the EC, about how people, we had to discourage people from saving seats this year because of the capacity issue. And, I know that's going to be difficult because, look, I'm guilty of it. My family comes in waves. We always save 1 or 2. But how about for ushers and greeters? Like, my family's going to be in the sanctuary. Can they save 1 seat,
Yep.
for me when my shift is over?
We got you covered, Susan.
Good question. So
Yeah, great question. We have you covered. We will have signs say reserved for usher and greeter. Ronnie will have them. If you want one, she will give it to you. You can give it to your daughter, your husband, or whoever, and they can put it, if you're in, and I think you are on the first shift, they
Yeah.
can put it next to them, and then you will be sitting with them when you come back.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good plan.
Okay, great.
it's fluid. See, people are working through that. I see Judy asked a question. Do we have numbers in regards to how many folks can be in the synagogue, in the sanctuary?
I believe, Joel, as long as you're here, do you want to answer that? I know we're good right now with with what I'm getting in terms of where people want to sit. I thought we were talking around 375 to 400.
No, I'm sorry, but I can't give a number until we finish the inspection and we start putting out seats and the seats get covered. It's impossible to say. We're hoping 300 to 350 to cover everybody, but there's no way to give an answer right now. No way. Sorry.
Okay, thanks.
With the
Did you go-
count that we're doing with everybody, just if I can interrupt, with the count that we're doing and asking people to please let us know if their plans change, we're hoping that we have a good, a pretty accurate count ahead of time. So we'll know, so we should know before services what our capacity is going to be. So that's right now, that's the best we can do. That's why we ask people to let us know their plans so that we could make those adjustments.
Okay. I think we.
I just have one more question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but on that, I just suspect, and I think this is true mostly like for me as well, that people are going to be seeing how things go on Rosh Hashanah, and they might then make different decisions for Yom Kippur. Joel, are you planning to ask again between the two holidays for an update on the, people's plans, or is this it now?
My answer is there were no plans to ask again.
Okay.
We just don't know. We're going to meet after Rosh Hashanah as a small group and decide what we want to do, but no, there's no plans to ask again. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so security protocols, I think that Judy covered that at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. So Joel, you could move into the mask mandate. I think we certainly talked about, the requirements, and Joel having the wear your mask signs to share. And again, if folks are resistant, contact myself, contact Joel, and we'll get it settled. As far as honors are concerned, Aaliyah's and the like, Nancy, I believe, and you could confirm, Nancy, will provide a list of the honorees and the readers to the usher, I guess, the first usher, sort of near the first main door in near the lobby area. And then the honorees should go check in with Nancy just to let her know that they're there, so she doesn't start freaking out.
I wasn't planning to freak out, but just in case. Yes, I usually am inside that first door, waiting for people who have honors. I wrote to people who have honors for Rosh Hashanah, asking them to try to come as close to starting time as possible so that they can get a seat in the sanctuary, and we will know where they are in the sanctuary rather than in the social hall part. But I will provide a list of the honorees, and if there's any question, I'm right there. So please, please, please ask me.
Okay, so I think we're good on honors. Security guidelines, I think Judy covered this, but just to reiterate, dial 911 and message Joel if there's some kind of medical emergency. If there's, any kind of other challenges, issues, pull the fire alarm, contact Joel. Try to stay as calm as possible. Hopefully this will never happen. and, you know, try to have congregants stay, you know, if it's a fire, obviously, that's not, they probably shouldn't stay in their seats, but otherwise try to move folks. And, you know, we'll try to get an usher to contact Rabbi Mero to address everything from the Bima. And, you know, there are police and armed security on campus, so they should certainly be utilized as needed, and, you know, be able to give instructions under those circumstances.
Great. Jeremy, there's one other thing that was on one of my versions of this, but not in the one I think I just sent to you. And I apologize for that. But if there is a medical emergency, if somebody, you know, is in distress, please, as an usher, please keep other people away from them. Tell them to go back to their seats. We have, if it's a physician, and we have plenty of those in the congregation, and they're being of help, you know, two of them, they should just decide between them which two are taking over. But it will be incumbent upon the ushers, once they report it, to make sure that people don't crowd around anybody who's having an issue. Really important. So that's that was, I just wanted to add that, and that will be in the other guidelines when I read.
See, Barbara Abramson has a question.
Simple one. Where's the fire alarm located?
So I believe it's in the hallway.
There are several, I think there are several in the hallway. I think there's one like right on the way upstairs. Joel, do you tell me exactly, or maybe Nancy can, because she's.
Yeah, they're in the hallway. They're in the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay, I never had
There's
occasion.
several. There are several. So next time, take a look. Nothing we actually notice.
So there's a question, I don't know if it was Lou or Barbara. Are we monitoring people who are attending outside services who need to use the restrooms during services?
If they have a ticket and they are an adult that has been vaccinated, we will let them in to use our restroom. You know, that will be a greeter thing. And thank you, I'll put it on the greeter instructions. If they have children, the unvaccinated children under 12 from the family service, there will be restrooms available in the school building. No one who is unvaccinated is allowed into the building. No one who is not vaccinated is allowed into the Riverside tent. We have a lot of elder people who may be so please. So those are kind of fast rules. But for everybody else, yes, they can use they can come in and use the bathroom.
Will there be a sign that says all unvaccinated children need to go to the school to go to the bathroom?
There
Like-
would be, I am not handling that part of things, but the children, but every family has already been told that.
Oh, they've been told. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, maybe it's worth saying that Sharon Diamondstein, hi, Sharon Diamondstein and I and a group of parents are going to be working on Sunday morning to do preparations for the kids service, including goodie bags, but also figuring out where strollers and backpacks need to go, and how we're going to coordinate moving families from security over to the children's tent. And so we can also make signs on the main building and as well as on the Hebrew School building, directing families to have kids go to the bathroom there. And if there are other ideas that we should sort of address in terms of marking a path maybe between the front of the main building and the children's tent, we can do that kind of thing as well. So after this, I'm happy to take sort of ideas on how we should do that.
Yeah, and as far as the bathroom goes as well, we have that people who have tickets for the outside service, they have if they signed up, they have a regular adult ticket so that they can use that as well. That's also their ID that they signed up so that we can give them their wristbands. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And Riverside people are allowed into the main building just because that's the way we established it. So anybody with a ticket is allowed into our building. So whether it's for just to use the bathroom or to be in services, it's all the same.
If someone's
Wanna make sure the
unvaccinated,
The greeter who's
an
at the
adult.
front door should probably, if you see someone who's like under 12, it's clear that they're under 12 and, you know, maybe they're with a parent and the parent's trying to take them to the bathroom. Just remind them that there are bathrooms in the
Absolutely.
building. Because as
Right.
much as we try to let people know about this, a lot of the families that come to the kid service, like they're not really regular attendees and they don't necessarily read everything that's sent to them. So if you see a kid or a kid with a parent trying to enter the main building, just remind them that that no one who's unvaccinated, including little kids, are allowed in the building.
Right. We are not allowing anybody unvaccinated to be in our services, period, or be on campus, period. They don't have tickets. We're trusting that if they said, yes, I attest that me and my family have been vaccinated, that is true, but nobody has a ticket who is unvaccinated. So that.
Judy, can I ask a question to clarify that? I'm on the safety committee, so I should know. I thought we said that if people, hadn't signed up, but they wanted to come and watch the service outdoors on the TV monitor over on the side, that they could, and it was not my understanding that we were going to require tickets for people who wanted to do that. So I'm just trying to think if there's sort of a loophole or a gap in I know we've said everyone who wants to come indoors has to be vaccinated, but adults.
Let's take this offline, Naomi, and we'll come up with a policy and it will be here in the next thing, rather than trying to have a meeting about it now.
I think to be crystal clear. And if it's unclear in my mind, it may be unclear in everybody's mind what the story is. Okay. We'll take it offline.
Yeah. Okay, great.
One other question that's come in is about name tags for ushers and or greeters.
Okay. There will be name tags available for everyone. So if you are an usher and a greeter, yes, please take a name tag and put it on. It will not designate you as such, but your stand of authority should be enough for that. All
right. And then back to the slides. Good question. So thank you for your engagement. As far as the shifts are concerned for the ushers, please be on time, try to be a little early. Each of those scheduled shifts is an hour and 15 minutes, and try not to leave your area, your post, until your successor arrives. And if someone doesn't arrive after 5-10 minutes after that time frame that you thought you would be off, then please text myself or Brad. Our numbers will be at the bottom of the document that you receive about Usher guidelines in a few days on Sunday.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions before we move on?
Are there more slides, or are we?
You're done. I think.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm done with this batch.
Okay.
I have a question regarding what Jeremy just went over. If I'm signed up to do the entire service on Wednesday, if I need to step away to go to the bathroom,
that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, yes, absolutely.
Just tell somebody, another usher, so they know to look.
Or just give them a.
Or I'll try to time it when one person's leaving, switching shifts.
Okay.
And I can grab somebody.
So you actually signed up for the whole time, Cheryl? Wow.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to be alone that day. I might as well just usher the whole time. Continuity.
We'll make sure you get a proper bathroom break. I even get you a glass of water.
Last year I had to time it to run away from the virtual when there were no switches.
So
like when the canter went on for 6 minutes, then I ran away and went to the bathroom.
So there's a couple other just small things I want to mention, not related to Rosh Hashanah, but we still have some slots for Yom Kippur. So for those that have signed up, thank you. If you're willing and able to sign up for another slot, especially on Colney Dre, please do so, or encourage your friends, your spouses, any adult that might be able to help. And then my other plug is we are building a couple Sukkot or sukkahs on September 12th. This is being sponsored by the Men's Club. Anyone and everyone adult-wise that is interested in helping is more than welcome to participate. I personally don't have a lot of skills, but I do have some height. So I have shared that in the past and probably will do more of that this time, but we'd love to have folks. So again, please encourage your spouses, your friends, and others to sign up. There was an email today. It didn't include a sign up genius, but we'd love to see people, folks that are dropping their kids off for the first day of Hebrew school. Even if you're not available right at 9 o'clock, if you're available at some point during the morning, we will always welcome your support. So thank you very much.
Yeah, Judy, do you want to give a plug for the garden since to the nature trail since your daughter's been so involved? I just saw your note go out.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, anybody who comes, bring a friend, and please join us. We'll have a horticulturalist on site. We have plants we're putting down, and there's more clearing. And please come take a walk. If you're at the Men's Club and you're building the sukkah, come take a stroll over. Again, children, adults, everybody is welcome, and we hope we'll get use out of it, so thank you.
It's lovely. I took a walk through there the other day. Very nice. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're ready to go on to greeters. It would be nice for the ushers to say it seems like collectively the more we know, the more we know about what's going on, the more effective we are all around, and the more help we can be to congregants. And as I say, so many rules, we've gone through them. I'm going to go through them one more time, just so that everybody knows. I won't take a lot of time. 1, only those who pre-registered will be allowed into services. Proper fitting masks must be worn at all times, masks that cover the mouth and nose. Greeters, when you first see people, and I'll tell you a little bit about where we expect you to be located, tell people to put their masks on immediately if they're not always wearing them. As Naomi just said, we are requiring masks be worn on campus at all times, even outside. No more than people should bring in only a tallis bag and a handbag, a reasonably sized handbag. If they are carrying one, no diaper bags, no backpacks. There will be a table. Ronnie will be set up towards the back. I don't know if people remember from 2 years ago where she was. She'll be in the same area. Next to her, there will be a table where people can leave them. Or if they're worried about them, then they should go lock them in their cars and then come back. But nothing, we will not accept anything large into the building.
Judy, is one of the guards checking inside of bags?
No, not the.
No.
We decided because we were doing pre-registration and it's only for congregants or their immediate family, that we would treat everybody as family. We know everybody who's walking into the building, or they won't have a ticket. It's not like other years.
Got it.
Okay, so yeah.
Judy, just one quick question on the point you just made that nobody without a ticket, and if you weren't pre-registered, you don't have a ticket. If a congregant, who is known to us walks up and says, I didn't pre-register, aren't I on a list somewhere? Should we send them to Ronnie?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. This year is between health and health really has taken a priority over the kind of security measures that we took 2 years ago. We really need to be vigilant and we have, I don't, you know, I think that they've received communications at least 7 or 8 times. I also personally contacted everybody who was a paid, as of 2 weeks ago, was a paid up member who had not signed up. So they have gotten personal messages as well. So I really don't believe anybody can come and say they were never contacted.
Perfect.
Okay, so we were really vigilant up front. So we just, and the worst that happens is if they want to be on campus, they can go sit and watch on the screen, or Ronnie will give them, you know, share the link again and they can go home and watch it there, or they can, but we cannot let them in. And we can tell them, please, you know, let us know you're coming for Yom Kippur so this doesn't happen next week.
Judy, does the Jewish Center have a preferred way we phrase things when we're asking someone to adjust their mask who's giving us issues? Or sometimes, I'm sorry, old people just, when I was at a meeting there, it was like rampant,
Okay, so
letting masks fall. So is there polite language is there a phrase you want us to use?
If you want to come up with one, I mean, to me, you just point and say mask. I'm going, nobody is, and Joel has his little signs, which I think, you know, maybe we take those paddles and hit them over the head.
Hi,
I don't mean to
can
be
you hear
flip,
me?
but we do need to say, and if it's a problem, if somebody does not comply, then somebody needs, one of the ushers needs to tell Rabbi Mero, get a message to Rabbi Mero to please tell people that if their masks are not properly fitting, we will be asking them to leave. Because it's that important, right? And I think too, I know she had said at one time, you know, I don't know how many people she'll be able to see, but you know, if she sees people not wearing masks, she will also, you know, tell people to readjust their masks and to put them on. I don't think this is new to anybody anymore. So, you know, let's hope. Greeters, it's just like with the ushers, please wait until you are relieved before you leave your post. If it's 10, your time is an hour and 15 minutes. If it goes longer than that, text me, and except for the time I'm on the Bima, I will get back to you, or I will go out and take over but you know, just let me know that person did not show up, or I'll grab somebody and ask them to cover that time. But if you could try to stay, you know, give some overlap time, try to be on, everybody should be on time. It's respectful to the people who have already served. If not, you know, please let me know. So you're not there by your, you know, you don't stay longer than you're supposed to. Okay, the next, I think that's all the rules. Everybody clear on the rules?
So Judy, there's a few questions, so maybe we should give some clarification and or answer.
Can I ask, Jeremy, I would rather, maybe some of these things will be clarified during the presentation.
Okay.
And rather than jumping, I would rather hold questions to the end, if that's okay with everybody. I mean, including Naomi's question, which was what we were getting to next. Okay, so it makes it easier, you know, so thank you. Just keep track of those questions, Jeremy, because obviously I want to answer them all. Okay, we have up to 4, maybe 5 at sometimes simultaneous worship venues on this campus at every time. The main sanctuary, we know where that is. The Riverside tent, which will be in the parking lot that's outside of the Beit Midrash, where during the week where staff parks. That one will be the Riverside tent. And the other tent will be where, for those who remember, where it used to be in the lower parking lot next to the school. You greeters will need to be able to let people know where they are, in case people have not don't know. And then we have another venue. We have the outdoor space where the sukkah usually goes every year. That will be set up with a viewing screen for people who are not coming into the building. That is not a tented area, but there will be chairs, and we'll make sure that the TV is positioned in a way that it won't be, the sun won't be hitting it directly, so they can see it. Okay. Then Joel, next, scroll down one more. Greeter stations. So the way Joel and I walk through this today, we're going to have a lot of people come in through the one parking lot. Other people will probably be coming in from, if they parked on the street, they may be coming around the children's tent. So they'll be coming up that way. We're trying to direct, and we'll do our best. We're trying to direct people who park in the far lots and the gravel lots and where the lawn is to come around to the front via the upper parking lot. Not to go through, because we don't want them going through the Riverside service. So, which means most people should be coming down that the way most people enter. We'll have one person, two people set up there, check saying, put on your mask, get your tickets out. They see they have masks and tickets, they can direct them right down to they can tell them to go right through the entry. There'll be one person in entry to again check that the masks are on properly. We will also tell them on the way in, pick up, we have complimentary Purell if you would like it, pick up a name badge if you would like it. And the name badges will be out. They are alphabetized in alphabetical order according to first name. So every greeter should know that. So people will not be confused about how they're picking up their name badge.
Judy, I thought they were going to change that and alphabetize it by last name.
We're alphabetizing by first name. All right. We do things by committee, not by sometimes first.
Makes sense.
Okay. So we'll have two greeters greeting people as they come in. We'll have another greeter at a table. The families that are going to the family service need to show their tickets. We're not, in other years, we've let the community in. We're not doing that this year. So they will come to a table, and at that, with one greeter, and we're hoping to get them, this greeter, some extra help during 15 minutes before both children's services. And they will give, they will see they have tickets, and they will give them a colored wristband for each family member. If the kids don't put them on, so be it. But, I think the kids probably will like the idea, quite frankly. So, and then whoever, and that the ushers that, thank you, Renan, has recruited for the children's service will be looking to make sure that they have a wristband, or they will be sent up to get a wristband. And then the fourth greeter will be near the door. The door position can be a sitting or standing position, depending on what your needs are. Just to, again, make sure that people have their masks on, and telling them to please enter quietly, and please go to the first available door. We talked today about having, and Jeremy and we talked about this yesterday, I think, we will be putting stanchions up when an area is filled by that door, so people know to go to the next door, because we're trying to keep the room ventilated, so we're not shutting the doors the way that we have in previous years as things fill up. Let me think if there's anything else. If people don't have tickets, send them to Ronnie. And think, what else? Yeah, ticket colors. If you go to ticket colors, go to the next slide and you'll see you'll see my slide with ticket colors. The white ticket is for anybody who registered, got a white ticket if they were taking their kids to services, if they were planning to come in, so that they will have the white ticket. And as well as anybody entering who's going to the sanctuary service. The gold ticket is Riverside only, and with limited seating for Riverside and with Riverside growing because, and people requesting it now that they know it's outside in a tent and not in a closed area like the Beit Midrash, we really cannot have anybody in there who did not pre-register. Those people, again, if they have a white ticket, they can come into, they can come into the sanctuary service. And that's really what we can do for them. Purple ticket is a guest ticket. We limited guests this year, as you know, to only immediate family members. So parents of members, adult children of members, and that is pretty much it. So those people will have purple tickets for Rosh Hashanah, and for Yom Kippur, they will have a green ticket. And that's what those mean. And those purple and green tickets are for the main sanctuary service only. And I think that, and again, I will have my phone number. You'll have my phone number handy. You'll have Joel's phone number handy. And that's, I think that's it. And now I'd love to hear questions, because I'm sure there's something I've forgotten.
Question about a check-in area.
Thanks, Cheryl.
There's a question about, is there a check-in area when we arrive, and will be informed where we will be ushering?
I will let you know ahead of time where, if you have a preference, that's fine. If not, I can assign you a station so you know that ahead of time. I plan to be there first thing. I have to be inside for the Torah service because I'm reading, and then I can come back out again. Oh, I did want to mention that those who are greeters towards the end of the service, we're not expecting a rush of people. If you want to remind people to leave their name badges, if they took them, that would be great. Wish everybody L'Shana Tova, and we will wait until most people have left to clear. Okay. Can't guests also go to children's services if they're given if they're given a guest ticket? They can go to the children's service with a grandchild or if they're watching they have to have a child with them, obviously. But they're ticketed. What we don't have this year is the walk-in family service, which is really a shame that we can't have it this year, but this just isn't the year for it, especially with kids not being vaccinated.
Barbara, you had a question?
Will there be a Zoom of the Riverside service if people ask?
Yes.
Cheryl, you asked about usher chairs if you're busy. I mean, I guess my answer to that would be, if you could locate a chair and it's in a place where you could do what you need to do. And in your case, since you're there for the duration, feel free to locate a chair.
I think, Joel, I don't see any problem with having a chair next to a door. Do you? So that when ushers aren't busy, they can sit down?
No, it's only a fire hazard.
Oh, no, they're not in the door.
I don't see that a problem, no.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't.
Let's take it. Anybody who's taking multiple shifts in the same day deserves a chair.
Great.
No, it's just reserving that one chair closest to the door, because a chair can't be in an egress.
Okay, well, you will have, did everybody hear me at the, when I said that you are entitled to one reserved for usher greeter? So if you have that piece of paper, just put it on there you go.
I'll just put it on that chair. Okay.
Right.
What about talits and kippas and prayer books?
That's,
We want everybody to bring their own talit and kippot. We will have extra just in case. And from a COVID standpoint, we're going to try to put out prayer books on all of the seats. So they're not in any sort of central location. When they're done, they put them right back on their seat.
okay, thank you.
How do the badges attach?
Clip on.
They're the clip-on,
Great.
they're the same ones we've been using for Shabbat.
Okay.
Susan Falcon has her hand up.
Is the playground open?
What did we decide on that?
You want to play in the playground, Susan? Is that what you think?
That's exactly what I'm hoping to do. Thank you, Joel.
Just remember, Susan, keep 3 feet distance from any other child.
Yeah, but I'm
That's a good question.
to go
That's
on all
that's a great question. We obviously honestly haven't talked about it, but we will have that answer before service. But thank you for asking. I've written it down.
We're at the top of the hour. There's some great questions, and keep in mind that we'll be sending out, detailed discussions, a paper document that has all this in great detail and any refinements that are going to take place on what's been learned this evening and in the next day or so, or next day. But I would thank everyone, and if there's any questions that come up, just jot them down, and we'll try to think about them over the next couple of days. But thank you so much, everyone, for agreeing to participate. It's going to be a big adventure and a lot of fun. And
You guys have done an amazing job. I am just overwhelmed with how organized this is. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate, thank you very much for everybody. Jeremy has been wonderful, and Brad has been wonderful. Yeah, everybody's been wonderful, and everybody here is wonderful for also stepping forward and volunteering. Thank you, thank you. Greeters, if you know anybody, and thank you those who signed up again. Some people took a second shift after my last email. If you have, or you want to invite a friend and there's a time near you, please do. And thank you. And yes, you're absolutely right, Brad. We should all say goodnight. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. You guys all know my email and my phone number. Thank you. Mwah.
thank you so much.
Judy, can you stay on for 1 second with me?
Yes, you bet.
Jeremy, can you make me host so that when you leave, you don't shut the meeting off?
Yeah, I'm just going to stop the recording.